Hello everyone. So today let us continue with the CNS drugs. So the next topic is centrally acting muscle relaxants. So I think a few days before we have discussed about peripherally acting muscle relaxants, and it is a continuation which is centrally acting muscle relaxants. Okay. So these are the drugs which reduce the skeletal muscle tone by a selective action on the cerebrospinal axis without altering the consciousness of a person. So they selectively depress the spinal and supraspinal polysynaptic reflexes involved in the regulation of muscle tone without significantly affecting monosynaptically mediated stretch reflex. So polysynaptic means, poly means many, synapse means the combination of nerves or meeting of nerves. So polysynaptic, so they will affect mainly polysynaptic but not the monosynaptically mediated stretch reflex. So polysynaptic pathways in the ascending reticular formation which are involved in the maintenance of wakefulness and are also depressed. So though a lesser extent. All centrally acting muscle relaxants do have some sedative property too. So they have no effect on neuromuscular transmission and on muscle fibers but reduce the decerebrate rigidity, upper motor neuron spasticity and hyperflexia. Okay, so there are certain differences between the centrally acting and peripherally acting muscle relaxants. So what are all they means? So centrally acting muscle relaxants, they will decrease the muscle tone without reducing voluntary power. So peripherally acting, it will cause paralysis, voluntary movement will be lost. So next, selectively inhibit polysynaptic reflexes in the CNS. So here it will block the neuromuscular transmission. So in case of CNS, so it will cause some CNS depression. So here in peripherally acting, they won't affect the CNS. So centrally acting, they are given orally, sometimes parenterally. So here peripherally acting, they are practically always given intravenously. So in case of centrally acting, it is used in chronic spastic condition, that is a long time spasm of the muscles or acute muscle spasms and tetanus conditions. In case of peripherally acting, it is used for short term purposes like surgical operations. Okay. So next is the classification. So you can classify the centrally acting muscle relaxants as mefenazine congeners, benzodiazepines, GABA mimetic and central alpha 2 agonist. Okay. So coming to mefenazine congeners, you can have mefenazine, carciloprodol, chlorhexazone, chlormexoxazone, then methocarbamol. Okay. Benzodiazepines, you can have diazepam and other derivatives. GABA mimetic, you can have baclofen and thiocolochicoside. Next, central alpha 2 agonist, you can have tizanidine. Okay. So I think most here mefenazine, it is an older drug and not practically used nowadays. Benzodiazepam, so we have discussed it earlier, its mechanism of action and its pharmacological action uses, etc. So we are going to discuss about here GABA mimetic and central alpha 2 agonist. Okay. So GABA mimetic example is baclofen. So this is an analog of inhibitory transmitter. GABA acts as a selective GABA B receptor agonist. So usually the GABA receptors is divided into two, GABA A and GABA B. So GABA A receptor, so it is intrinsic ion channel receptors which increases the chloride conductance, which is blocked by bicuculline, facilitated by benzodiazepines. So in case of GABA B receptor, it is a G protein coupled receptor. So it will hyperpolarizes the neurons by increasing the potassium conductance and altering the calcium flux. Okay. So bicuculline is insensitive but blocked by saclofen. So baclofen does not affect the chloride ion conductance and its actions are not antagonized by bicuculline. So primary site of action of baclofen is, it is considered to be the spinal cord where it depresses both polysynaptic and monosynaptic reflexes. As such, it does produces muscle weakness but less sedative than diazepam. So baclofen is well absorbed orally and its side effects include drowsiness, mental confusion, weakness and ataxia. Ataxis means movement, ataxia means absence of movement. So sudden withdrawal, it may lead to, after chronic use, may cause hallucinations, tachycardia and seizures. Seizures means epilepsy. So next is the tricolchicoside. Okay. So chemically related to colchicine derivative. So this is a muscle relaxant. It is believed to act as a GABA mimetic and glycinergic drug. So combined with NSAIDs, it is being used for painful muscle spasms such as torticollis, sprains, backache, etc. So its side effects are stomach upset and photosensitivity reactions. That is, after taking the drug, if you are exposed to sunlight or light, so this will lead to sensitization of the skin. So photo means light, so it is light sensitivity. Next is the tizanidine. So this clonidine congener, it is a central alpha-2 adrenergic agonist. It will inhibit the release of excitatory amino acids in the spinal interneurons. So it may facilitate the inhibitory transmitter glycine as well as. So polysynaptic reflexes are inhibited, resulting in decreasing the muscle tone and frequency of muscle spasms without reducing muscle strength. So efficacy is similar to baclofen, or diazepam has been noted in the multiple sclerosis, spinal injury and stroke with fewer side effects. Okay. So next is the uses of centrally acting muscle relaxants. So it is used as in acute muscle spasms, so overstretching of the muscle, sprain, tearing of the ligaments and tendons, dislocation, fibrositosis, bursitis, rheumatic disorders, etc. cause painful spasm of the muscles. So the mefenazine like benzodiazepine muscle relaxants combined with analgesics are commonly used, but it is very not impressive. Next is the torticollis, lumbago, backache and neuralgias. So these are other conditions in which painful spasm of certain muscles is a prominent feature response in the same way as acute muscle spasms. So anxiety and tension, increased tone of muscle often attends these states. So diazepam group of drugs and chlormazone benefit by the anti-anxiety as well as muscle relaxants actions. Next is the spastic neurological diseases. So impairment of descending pathways in the cerebrospinal axis and withdrawal of the inhibitory influences over the stretch reflex cause this chronic increase in the muscle tone or spasticity. So hemiplegia, paraplegia, spinal injuries, multiple sclerosis, ALS and certain cerebral palsy fall in this category. So these conditions are benefited by baclofen, diazepam, tynazidine and dantrolene, but not by mefenazine group of drugs. So however, therapy of these disorders is far from satisfactory. So and finally, tetanus, the most commonly used is diazepam IV and the dose is titrated by the response. Electroconvulsive therapy ECT. So diazepam decreases the intensity of convulsions resulting from the ECT without diminishing the therapeutic effect. So often succinylcholine is used to in addition for total suppression of the muscular component in electroconvulsive therapy. So orthopedic manipulations. So these procedures may be performed under the influence of diazepam or methocarbamol given IV. Okay. So with this, today's topic is over. So it is centrally acting muscle relaxants. You just better study along with the peripherally acting muscle relaxants itself. Okay. So remaining we can see in the next class. Take care. Bye bye.